They tell you the secret to building wealth is budgeting better, investing smarter, and hustling harder. But here's what they don't mention. The biggest wealth destroyer in America isn't your avocado toast. It isn't your Netflix subscription. It isn't even your rent. It's sitting in your driveway right now, quietly bleeding you dry every single month. That car you're so proud of, it's the reason you'll retire broke. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how much it's really costing you. Let me paint a picture for you. It's Saturday morning, you're scrolling through Instagram, and there it is. Your old college roommate just posted a photo of his brand new BMW. Leather seats, sunroof, that new car smell practically leaking through your screen. And something inside you shifts. You look outside at your 7-year-old Honda sitting in the driveway. Suddenly it looks a little more dented, a little more embarrassing, a little more like failure. So what do? You tell yourself you deserve an upgrade. You've been working hard. You got that raise last year. You're a responsible adult. And besides, everyone has a car payment, right? That's just how life works. So you walk into a dealership the following weekend, and 3 hours later, you drive off in a $45,000 SUV with a smile on your face and a $780 monthly payment you'll be making for the next 6 years. Congratulations. You just signed away your financial future and you felt good doing it. Here's the thing. I'm not here to shame you. I'm really not. Car culture is so deeply embedded in American society that questioning it feels almost un-American. Your parents had car payments. Your neighbors have car payments. Every commercial break shows you beautiful people driving beautiful cars through beautiful mountains with absolutely zero traffic. But the math doesn't care about culture. The math doesn't care about your feelings. And when you actually run the numbers, the math is absolutely brutal. Let's talk about what's really happening when you buy a car. And I mean really happening, not the fantasy the dealership sold you, the actual financial reality. The average new car price in America right now is $48,000. Let that sink in for a moment. The average. That means half of new cars sold cost even more than that. With an average auto loan interest rate of around 7% for people with good credit, and loan terms stretching to 72 months or even 84 months, the average new car payment has hit $734 per month. $734 every single month for 6 to 7 years. But here's where it gets really ugly. That $48,000 car, the moment you drive it off the lot, it loses approximately 10% of its value. That's $4,800 gone, evaporated, vanished into thin air in the time it took you to drive home and show your spouse. By the end of the first year, your car has lost about 20% of its value. That's nearly $10,000 in depreciation, money you will never see again. By year 5, your car is worth roughly 40% of what you paid for it. You're still making payments on a $48,000 loan, but the car is now worth maybe $19,000. And that's just depreciation. We haven't even talked about the other costs yet. Insurance on a new car, that's going to run you $150 to $250 per month, depending on your age, location, and driving history. Let's call it $180 average. Gas, with the average American driving 13,500 miles per year and average fuel economy around 25 miles per gallon, and gas prices hovering around $3.50 per gallon, you're looking at about $160 per month in fuel. Maintenance and repairs, even on a new car with a warranty, you're looking at oil changes, tire rotations, new tires every few years, brake pads, and the random things that break. Budget at least $100 per month averaged out. Registration and taxes, depending on your state, another $50 to $100 per month when you average it annually. Let's add this up. Monthly payment, $734. Insurance, $180. Gas, $160. Maintenance, $100. Registration and taxes, $75. Total monthly cost of car ownership, $1,149. Every single month. That's $14,988 per year, nearly $15,000 annually just to own and operate your vehicle. But wait, it gets worse, because we haven't talked about what that money could be doing instead. Meet Sarah. Sarah is 30 years old. She just got promoted and decided to celebrate by leasing a new Audi Q5 for $1,599 per month. With insurance and all the other costs, she's spending about $1,100 per month on her car. She figures she deserves it. She works hard. She needs reliable transportation. And besides, image matters in her industry. Now meet David. David is also 30 years old. same income as Sarah. But David drives a 2018 Toyota Camry he bought used for $18,000 3 years ago. He paid cash. His monthly car costs, including insurance, gas, and maintenance, come to about $400 per month. David takes the $700 difference and invests it in a simple S&P 500 index fund every single month. Let's see what happens over the next 35 years until they both reach retirement age at 65. Sarah spends $1,100 per month on cars for 35 years. She'll upgrade every few years, but her costs stay roughly the same adjusted for inflation. Total spent on cars over 35 years, approximately $462,000. David spends $400 per month on cars. He buys reliable used vehicles, maintains them well, and drives them for 8 and 10 years each. Total spent on cars over 35 years, approximately $168,000. But here's the real story. That's $700 per month David invested and an average 8% annual return after 35 years. David has $1,472,000 in his investment account, $1.47 million, just from the difference in car spending. Sarah has nice Instagram photos from 2024. David has financial freedom, same income, same career trajectory, wildly different outcomes, all because of what's parked in the driveway. So why do people keep making this mistake? Why do intelligent, educated, hardworking people consistently overspend on cars by hundreds of thousands of dollars over their lifetimes? It comes down to psychology, and the car industry has spent billions of dollars figuring out exactly how to exploit it. First, there's the status signaling. Cars are one of the most visible purchases you make. Your investment portfolio is invisible. Your emergency fund is invisible. Your Roth IRA is invisible. But your car, everyone sees your car. Your neighbors see it. Your coworkers see it. That person you're trying to impress sees it. And somewhere along the way, we decided that the car you drive says something about who you are. A nice car means you're successful. A luxury car means you've made it. An old car means you're struggling. This is complete nonsense, of course. Some of the wealthiest people I know drive 10-year-old Toyotas, and some of the most broke people I know are leasing BMWs they can't afford. But the perception persists. And perception is powerful. Second, there's the monthly payment trap. Car salespeople are trained to never talk about the total price of the car. They're trained to talk about the monthly payment. What monthly payment are you comfortable with? That's the first question they ask. Not what's your budget for a car, but what can you afford per month? This is psychological manipulation, pure and simple. Because once you're thinking in monthly payments, the total cost becomes abstract. What's an extra $50 per month? That's just dinner out. What's an extra $100 per month? That's basically nothing, except an extra $100 per month over 72 months is an extra $7,200. And when you factor in interest, it's even more. The dealership stretches your loan term to 84 months instead of 60 months. Your monthly payment was manageable, but you're now paying interest for 2 extra years. And you'll be underwater on your loan, owing more than the car's worth for the first 3 to 4 years of ownership. Third, there's the reliability myth. People convince themselves they need a new car because used cars are unreliable. They'll break down. They'll leave you stranded. They'll cost a fortune in repairs. This was true in 1985. It's not true in 2024. Modern cars, especially for manufacturers like Toyota, Honda, and Mazda, routinely last 200,000 miles with basic maintenance. A 5-year-old car with 60,000 miles on it has easily another 100,000 to 140,000 miles of reliable life left, and the depreciation hit has already been absorbed by the first owner. You're not buying someone else's problem. You're buying someone else's depreciation. Fourth, there's the safety rationalization. I need a safe car for my family. This is the trump card. The argument ender. How can you put a price on safety? Except here's the thing. A 2019 Honda CR-V has virtually identical safety ratings to a 2024 Honda CR-V. Both have airbags. Both have stability control. Both have backup cameras. Both have collision avoidance systems. The safety improvements between a 5-year-old car and a brand new car are marginal at best. You're not meaningfully protecting your family by spending an extra $20,000. You're just making yourself feel like you are. Fifth, there's the I deserve it mentality. This might be the most dangerous one of all. You work hard, you've been responsible, you've delayed gratification in other areas, and now you deserve something nice. But here's the problem with "I deserve it" as a financial philosophy. You can use it to justify almost anything. You deserve a nice car. You also deserve a nice house, and nice vacations, and nice clothes, and nice dinners out, and before you know it, you deserve your way into debt and financial stress. The wealthy don't think in terms of what they deserve. They think in terms of what moves them toward their goals. Sometimes those things overlap. Often they don't. 6. There's social pressure. Your brother-in-law just got a Tesla. Your coworker just got a Mercedes. Your neighbor just got a Range Rover. And there you are with your sensibly used Accord, feeling like the poor kid at the rich kid's lunch table. This is the keeping up with the Joneses effect, and it's devastating to wealth building, because here's the secret about the Joneses: they're broke too. They're just better at looking rich. The average American household with car loans is carrying over $22,000 in auto debt. That's not wealth. That's the opposite of wealth. They don't own those cars. The bank owns those cars. They're just renting them at an inflated price while pretending they own them. Now, I want to be fair here. I want to acknowledge that there are situations where spending more on a car makes sense, because this isn't about never spending money on cars. It's about spending intentionally rather than emotionally. If your car is a genuine work tool, the calculus changes. A real estate agent who drives clients around all day probably shouldn't be doing it in a beat-up 2003 Corolla. A contractor who needs a truck that can haul materials and survive job sites needs something more robust than the cheapest option. If your car directly generates income, it's a business investment, not just consumption. If you have significant wealth already accumulated, spending on cars becomes less impactful. If you have a net worth of $5 million and you want to drive a $100,000 car, that's 2% of your wealth. Enjoy it. But if you have a net worth of $50,000 and you want to drive a $50,000 car, that's 100% of your wealth tied up in a depreciating asset. That's financial suicide. If you genuinely love cars as a hobby, there's value in that. Some people spend money on travel. Some people spend money on golf. Some people spend money on cars. Hobbies have value, but be honest about what you're doing. You're not making a smart financial decision. You're indulging a passion. That's fine as long as you can afford it and you're doing it intentionally. If you have specific needs that cheaper options can't meet, spending more might be justified. A family of 7 needs a vehicle that fits 7 people. A person with a disability might need specific modifications that are only available on certain vehicles. A person who commutes 100 miles per day might prioritize fuel efficiency above all else. But here's the key question to ask yourself: am I buying this car because I need it or because I want to be seen in it? Be brutally honest, because that answer will tell you whether you're making a financial decision or an emotional one. Let's talk about what the smart approach actually looks like. What do people who build wealth actually do when it comes to cars? First, they buy used. Specifically, they buy cars that are 2 to 4 years old with 20,000 to 50,000 miles. These cars have already taken the biggest depreciation hit, but they still have most of their useful life ahead of them. A 3-year-old car costs about 40% less than the same car new, but it runs almost identically. Second, they buy reliability over prestige. Toyota, Honda, Mazda, and a few others consistently top reliability rankings year after year. These aren't exciting brands, they're boring brands. And boring is beautiful when it comes to your finances. A boring Toyota Camry that runs for 250,000 miles with minimal repairs is worth infinitely more than an exciting German luxury car that starts having electrical problems at 80,000 miles. The Camry might not impress anyone at the valet stand, but your retirement account will be impressive enough. Third, they pay cash or finance as little as possible. Car loans are almost always a bad deal. You're paying interest on an asset that's losing value. That's the worst possible combination. If you can't pay cash for a car, that's usually a sign you're buying too much car. The exception might be when interest rates are extremely low, like 0 to 2% financing offers that occasionally exist. In those cases, you might be better off financing and investing your cash, but those deals are rare, and they usually require excellent credit and come with strings attached. Fourth, they keep cars for a long time. The average new car buyer trades in their vehicle after about 6 years. The average wealthy person I know keeps their cars for 10 to 15 years. The cost of ownership drops dramatically after you pay off the loan. Those years of payment-free driving are where the real savings accumulate. A $400 per month car that you drive for 12 years costs you $40 per month averaged over its lifetime once it's paid off. A $734 per month car that you trade in after 6 years costs you $734 per month forever. Fifth, they maintain their vehicles properly. Oil changes, tire rotations, brake inspections, transmission fluid, coolant flushes. These aren't optional extras, they're investments in longevity. A $100 oil change every 5,000 miles is infinitely cheaper than a $6,000 engine replacement at 120,000 miles because you skipped maintenance. Sixth, they don't care what anyone thinks. This is the hardest part. It requires genuine confidence in who you are and what you're building. It requires being okay with driving something modest while your colleagues drive something flashy. But here's the secret. The people whose opinions actually matter don't care what car you drive. Your spouse cares whether you're financially secure. Your kids care whether you're present. Your real friends care whether you're happy. The only people who judge you by your car are strangers and shallow acquaintances. And building your financial life around impressing those people is a guaranteed path to misery. Let's run the real calculus on what this means for your life. Because this isn't just about cars. It's about everything the car money represents. If you're making the average American household income of about $75,000 and spending $1,249 per month on a car, that's 20% of your gross income. After taxes, it's closer to 25% of your take-home pay. 1/4 of every hour you work goes toward your car. Think about that. You work Monday. All of Monday's earnings go to your car. You work Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning's earnings go to your car. Every single week, you work the equivalent of 1¼ days just to pay for transportation. Now imagine you cut that in half. Instead of $1,249 per month, you spend $600 per month on a reliable used car. You free up $649 per month, $7,788 per year. That's 10% of your gross income that you've just reclaimed. What could you do with $7,788 per year? You could max out a Roth IRA at $7,000 and still have money left over. You could add it to your 401k and capture more employer matching. You could pay down your mortgage and save tens of thousands in interest. You could build an emergency fund that protects you from financial catastrophe. You could invest it and let compound interest work for you for decades. At 8% returns, $649 per month becomes $116,000 in 10 years. $389,000 in 20 years, $953,000 in 30 years, $1 million from driving a slightly less impressive car. That's not just money. That's years of your life. That's the difference between working until 67 and retiring at 57. That's the difference between financial stress and financial peace. That's the difference between leaving your kids an inheritance and leaving them nothing. All because of a choice about what sits in your driveway. Here's something else nobody talks about. The car you drive affects your entire financial psychology. When you have a $734 monthly car payment, that payment anchors your entire budget. You start to believe you need to earn a certain income just to maintain your lifestyle. You become afraid to take risks, to switch careers, to start a business, because you have this obligation hanging over you. But when you drive a paid-off used car with minimal monthly costs, you have flexibility. You have options. You can take that lower-paying job with better growth potential. You can launch that side business without worrying about making the payment if it takes a while to ramp up. You can survive an unexpected layoff without panicking. Financial flexibility is worth more than any car, and you can't have both. You either have the impressive car or you have the freedom. You don't get both unless you're already wealthy. I want to tell you about a concept called lifestyle creep. It's when your spending gradually increases as your income increases, so you never actually get ahead. You make $50,000 and spend $48,000. You get a raise to $70,000 and spend $68,000. You get promoted to $100,000 and spend $98,000. Cars are the #1 driver of lifestyle creep for most Americans. You get a raise, and the first thing you think about is upgrading your car. You get a bonus, and the dealership starts looking more attractive. You get a promotion, and suddenly your old car doesn't match your new position. This is a treadmill, and the only way to get off is to consciously decide that your car is not a reflection of your success. Your net worth is a reflection of your success. Your investments are a reflection of your success. Your financial security is a reflection of your success. Your car is just a tool that gets you from point A to point B. That's all it's ever been. So what have we learned today? The average American spends between $12,000 to $15,000 per year on car ownership. Over a 40-year working life, that's $480,000 to $600,000 spent on cars. If you invested just half of that, you'd have over $1 million at retirement. Cars are depreciating assets. They lose value every single day you own them. Spending more on a depreciating asset to impress people you don't know is the definition of financial insanity. The car industry has spent billions of dollars figuring out how to separate you from your money. Monthly payment framing, emotional advertising, status signaling, and lifestyle pressure are all designed to make you spend more than you should. The alternative is simple, but not easy. Buy used. Buy reliable, pay cash if possible. Keep it for a long time. Maintain it properly. And ignore what everyone else is driving. This isn't about deprivation, it's about intentionality. It's about understanding that every dollar you spend on a car is a dollar you're not investing in your future. And it's about making that trade-off consciously rather than unconsciously. Here's the question I want to leave you with. 20 years from now, when you're looking at your retirement accounts and your net worth statement, will you remember what car you drove in 2024? Will it matter at all? Or will you wish you had that money back? The car in your driveway is a choice. Every month, it's a choice you're actively making about what kind of future you want to build. The question is whether you're making that choice intentionally or whether you're letting car commercials and social pressure make it for you. The wealthy understand something that most people don't. The appearance of wealth and actual wealth are often opposites. The person driving the flashy car is often broke. The person driving the modest car is often rich. The goal isn't to look wealthy. The goal is to be wealthy, and being wealthy starts with rejecting the single biggest wealth destroyer in American life. It's parked in your driveway right now, and you have the power to make a different choice. If this video made you think differently about your finances, hit that subscribe button. I drop videos like this every week, breaking down the financial realities that nobody else wants to talk about. Share this with someone who's about to make a mistake at the dealership. And remember, the best car is the one that gets you where you want to go financially, not the one that impresses strangers at stoplights. I'll see you in the next one.